So we are recording. Let's go. All right. This is the blue world. This is the blue world.
Oh, bro. I'm taking a fucking nap out here, bro.
This is crazy, bro. So many, dude, so many. Think how much creatures are just like waiting to be created that live on this planet. So many of them. It's a glowing planet.
Yeah.
But you have these dark areas too. It's not all light.
Right. Well, we have an idea of planets of this planet at different stages.
Yeah.
I mean, the less we're gonna we have to fold the fiction into a game reality. So, if less of the planet starts out light, you want to probably start out pretty dark.
I just realized it's not playing.
Right. You should probably fix. Yeah.
Now the video's playing.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
we don't have much time because this shit's about to go.
All right.
Well, okay. That's about right.
There we go. That's the planet. That's the blue world, bro.
That's about right. I mean, you start in and shit's pretty busted because shit's pretty dark.
Yeah.
And then you basically light up the whole spot, with this. I mean, this is one of these machines here too.
Yeah. This is probably one of my favorite animations here, because you usually see the blue stuff. It's right here. It's in a circular form like this, but in this animation, it's being held in these vials, and then it's like washing over parts, and it's showing that
It's liquid
it's liquid,
form in this case.
and it's able to show this this eye. Like it's showing different like scenes, different like realities. So it's magic.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. This is an early one.
This is the first one I did.
Yeah. And here it is basically electric.
We have we got like electric stuff going on. I was thinking with this one, it's like more. It's like underwater, but you're looking at it like microscopically. This one's funny. This is like the first kind of.
Yeah, that's the creature I have them now in the play tests.
Yeah. We got this frog in the play test.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the newer play tests. Because we got them on a world now.
Mm-hmm. With this one, I wasn't really thinking like. I was thinking this was like Earth. This is before I actually sketched out or made like a final draft of what I wanted the planet to look like.
Well, the story of that thing is profound because that thing's off a planet.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
Yeah, I don't. He got there through like a portal or something.
In the perspective, it's like, is he fucking massive? Like, is he fucking massive?
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
I remember showing. It's funny because I'll show on stream.
Oh shit.
I had like different people reacting to it, because John was like showing his family what I was like drawing, and I was showing them that the one with the frog.
Yeah.
Like, it's the frog god. It's the frog god, and I was like, wait, maybe the frog is like massive.
Or
the frog, yeah. The planet.
So yeah, which is its own thing. So that's a puffer fish.
Yeah, that was a puffer fish.
Are we on loop or not? Is this already
Why
looped?
Did we go back to that one?
You doubled up? Well, this one looks there's something different about this one for some reason. This is like a longer version of because
Oh.
You think you have two versions of it?
I think I have two of the same clips on there.
Okay, here we go with this. It doesn't. It's fine. And here we go.
Fine. Okay, so this is the most recent one I did. They're all going by so fast, but this is good because I'm looking at them,
Yeah.
I'm just getting into the world. We're pretty much in the world with this projection too. It's so fun just coming up with different like creatures.
That's pretty intricate. That's some alien shit. That's the stuff that they got because they got these monitors.
Yeah.
There's always alien shit with this.
But notice, look at this.
Huh.
See it? See their eyes?
Huh. Oh.
That's another idea.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. What if?
That's super fucked up.
See what I just implied there?
Yeah, I totally see that. Whoa, that's
Yeah.
super fucked up. Okay.
So like maybe
Mm-hmm.
when what I was okay, so what I was thinking was in the game we've established that when you beat a level or whatever, you establish like a home base, or I forget what I called it. It was like a I don't know, like a home base or with a tree. What did I call it? I forget. But
You said sanctuary?
oh yeah, sanctuaries.
Sanctuary.
Yeah, yeah. So once we came up with this thing where once you've like liberated a spot from the darkness, you basically make this sanctuary, and then there's animals and there's creatures there. But with that animation, I was thinking like, what if there was like, what if one for one the watchers can appear not on the monitors, but like through something else, and they can like look into the eyes of the creatures and like turn them like evil or some shit. I don't know how that would relate to gameplay, but it was just a fun idea to put in that animation.
Okay, I'll tell you about like a fork here. Is this a good time to talk about like game mechanics and sort of the realities of putting this in front of a player, or you just want to stay immersed in the fiction first? Because no matter what, to make this a game, you can. When it is the fiction, it's yours.
Yeah.
It's yours, whatever you want. When you make it into a game, there's some compromises. So I wonder, is that a part of this discussion at all?
Let's stay within the fiction, just because.
Right. Okay.
As opposed to the office hours video that we did was all gameplay.
Yeah.
Let's go into the fiction.
Okay.
But let's start with the blue, because the glowing blue, is something that is just like the basis of this fiction. And I was thinking about this, and I talked about this on stream last night, where there's something so intriguing about, you want to draw like parallels from my life, like what I find fascinating about nature and into this is just looking up at the stars, and you see like this darkness, but then there's just these specks of light. Just that idea alone is like, I've always liked it, just seeing something glowing out of the darkness. That's why I put all these glowing blue orbs in these animation in this world and the art and stuff.
Okay.
And then you put them into the creatures. The creatures have glowing blue eyes.
Yeah. Well, can you go in more to that? I mean, it sounds so. I mean, you're just talking about sort of peaks of light through darkness, which of course, I'll say, if you were in the world, like, especially as it's turning out in this story we have where things are going darker and darker because of sort of an adversarial force, you're going to be seeing that a lot. You're going to be seeing darkness with breaks of light that are either getting bigger because they're coming towards you, or not. But like, you're seeing that a lot. What else though can you say about sort of the importance of that? Like, why does that strike you? What can you relate it to? Like, you just said that breaks in the darkness are it just by itself is some force for you, and why? Why?
Why?
If you even know
I don't
why.
even know. It's like, think of like Indiana Jones, that scene from Indiana Jones when he's taking that like the idol, and it's it's just like looking, like remember he was gonna swap it. It's just like, and it's like this right now. We're in a dark room,
Yeah. This is it.
and this is it right here. It's like something that it's just so clear
Yeah.
when it's that much of a contrast from, like, it's just boom. This is all you're looking at right now
Yeah. And
in the dark. It's popping up out of the darkness. And then, when I see that
right.
in real life, looking at stars and stuff, it's so intriguing. But just, I've always...
Well, because you can, if you don't know why, you can always go lateral, like you did with the Indiana Jones thing, where it's like, it's revealed. Now, I don't know if you're talking about visually the scene, like this in the scene, everything was dark except for the thing.
Oh.
Or like...
Oh, I don't know in the...
You're talking about the reveal of this item, or this
Right.
object, this thing, being basically the core center of, like, the meaning in this, like, big, basically, vacuum almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when
Yeah,
Harrison
yeah,
Ford's
yeah.
looking at it, he's like...
Yeah. That's you looking at the stars and shit when
Right.
it's coming in. Okay,
Right.
whoa. So, because I didn't even know in what manner you were relating that. Okay.
Got it now.
Wow.
Yeah. But then, I don't know. That's just space. I've always been, and we've talked to, I remember, like sitting down, talking on Discord about like, just like the universe. I can never wrap my head around, just like the infinite vastness of space. This fiction series that I'm making it's sci-fi, it's science fiction. Takes place on a planet. There's spacey things involved. You could see now. Well, now we're underwater, but we were just floating above the Earth a second ago. I've always been interested in that. I remember in our editing class in high school. I remember we had to make a video on it was like a random topic. And I remember I did it was like an informative video, and I did this like compilation series of it was like 5 different planets or whatever, and it was like I would show like an image of the planet, and then like this, I took like sounds, I forget even where I got them, maybe from like NASA or something, like sounds from the planets, that like I think like the Voyager or whatever picked up from them, but.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a fun project. But, bro, space. You go like camping, you look up, and it's like when you have no light pollution, you really when it's darker, you really start to see the stars pop out more.
You know what I'll bring up too, maybe you can talk about it more, like it's blue, and the thing is with blue is just like you can kind of just sit there because you've been working on this for a bit,
Yeah.
and so you spend a lot of time in those spots where all you're seeing it, like your whole face is, and your whole, like we are right now, we're just sort of swimming in blue light, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the color sort of matters so much. I mean, there are certain colors that if we were sort of sitting in them, I mean, it'd be a total different thing. This is, with blue, it's sort of, you can sort of be there for who knows how long. You can kind of just sit there, and that's something that's about blue, and it's about like this right now. I mean, you can almost fall asleep right now. I mean, it's like you can, well, that's.
It's funny. It's not good for your eyes. You get like blue light blockers, but like blue is it's a calming color.
Yeah.
You think of like the ocean blue. It's funny how colors will give you different emotions. So like this red is gonna pop up in a little second here.
Because
see the red.
Yeah. We need more.
The watchers are angry, bro. They're
You
angry.
decide, yeah, you threw red in there as a special thing. When everything's this, like, yeah, you kind of get fatigued with the blue.
Yeah.
And
This-
so it's you're sort of waiting for things like the red or the green.
Yeah. This one's cool. So
Yeah.
I put a ton of different sound effects in this. So this one's in the jungle. It's gonna go away in a second, but that was one of my favorite animations, the jungle sentinel, that like robotic creature. But I wanted it to be in a jungle environment on the planet with like a bunch of jungle sound effects, because I remember when I was younger, I remember my dad had this like, you know that brand Homedics?
No.
So
No.
Homedics they made these like, and they probably still do make these like sound machines. Like they're literally just sound things you can buy, you put batteries in them, and they'll just play white noise. Like that's their only job, is just to play. Oh, they have like a radio thing.
Okay.
But there is this one soundtrack on it that it was like a jungle sound effect, or just jungle soundscape, and it like
Yeah.
it honestly scared the shit out of me.
Really?
And he would play it like in my room, wherever, when I was sleeping, when I was younger, and it would like scare the shit out of me, because it wasn't like a peaceful jungle. It had like howler monkeys and shit, and I was like, bro, that's so scary. It was like they're making like some like demonic ass noises.
Yeah.
But I always think back to that when I want to put like all, like 3 kind of levels of atmosphere into this work, like the sound, the visuals, and like the animation, like making sure the animation syncs up with the audio and it has like a soundtrack and everything. But I always think back to that because like just from that fucking machine, it just made my whole room. I remember just hiding under like the covers or whatever. It made my whole room. I was like out in the jungle, and it scared the shit out of me. I couldn't sleep, and that was just through the sound. And like I was always afraid.
Oh yeah.
Of I don't know. I have like primal fears. So when I would, having dreams, I'm thinking of like creatures or animals like running at me in the night, and then I wake up or
Caveman
whatever.
dreams.
Yeah, like a dream that a caveman would have, like a saber-toothed tiger jumping out of you. So I remember like just having dreams where I'm put in either like a familiar place or or like it'll be a familiar place like my backyard, but I feel like I'm alone in that dream, and there's like a presence there, which is, it's not human, and it's like out to get me. And that's like kind of what I think about this world is like, and the main character that I want to create is like, they're kind of, they're alone in this world. They're surrounded by, the creatures and like just the natural world. Nothing's speaking to them or whatever, and they're just in this natural kind of like wild world. It's both scary, kind of fascinating, but that's how I'm kind of tying like my experience with like dreams and like fears and stuff into this fictional world that I'm making. I remember, bro, I had this same dream, and it would happen. It was the same thing. I'm like outside in my backyard. This is when I was really young. For whatever reason, in my backyard, I go out there, and then there's like this like small little creature, and then like I see it, and then it's like doo, 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 runs at me, attacks me, and then I wake up. And then I remember another one. It was the same thing. For whatever reason, I was under a house. There was a creature. It looked at me, from underneath this like little crevice or whatever, ran at me again.
Yeah.
And woke up, but creatures in the wild
Well, that's
world.
I mean that's really your subconscious. I can't tell you the last time I was chased in a dream, or especially not by some sort of animal. It's just really like what it sounds like is this is it's hard not to bring in sort of my background. I mean, we're just trying to talk about the fiction, but I'll say something sort of meta here where it's like I'll say like no one else really could make this. I don't mean like no one else could make a world or make a game, but it's like this is more you than like your irises or your thumbprint. Like this is more uniquely yours than like any kind of other way we have to identify people. It's like sort of so core to you that it's not really like this and nothing like this like will ever exist, like unless we kind of do this thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like this is the depths of one person, which is like this won't ever happen again because you'll never happen again. Like there's never going to be another you. And so you're sort of making something that's so like, because this is a combination of so many things that are all still you.
Yeah.
Everything you've been putting on these artboard. This is also the interesting thing about having an entire world and entire fiction made sort of just by one person. Because this is all you, right?
Yeah.
And so this is what we're in right now, like this room is sort of just like some manifestation. Obviously we have our modern tools, but there's some manifestation of like what this unconscious is. This unconscious of yours that like dreams of those things and like has those fears of like howler monkeys and shit. And it's like it's not a collaborative art effort where something emerges from the in-between. This is all just, so it's like,
that's what's cool about art. Well, I'm explaining it now, kind of. I mean, at every point, every artist kind of has to do like an artist statement or whatever.
yeah, is that true?
I mean, most artists do. You don't have to.
Well, what is it like?
But I feel like usually artists do it on like a specific kind of artwork. It's like written off to the side.
Right.
But like there would be like a painting, and then off to the side there's like a little plaque or whatever that explains exactly what's going on in the painting or whatever. But like most of the times you don't need to read the artist statement. I'm basically telling you through all of this.
Well, someone's gonna ask.
Of course.
You know that, like.
Yeah.
People don't want it for what it is. Like, they want to know. But hey, we're telling them here.
Yeah.
You're telling them here. You're telling them. So if they, they'll get their way. But there will be people that, because there's that people where it's like, I don't want to know.
They don't want to know. They would rather.
Yeah, like they don't want, they'd rather have make something out of it themselves. A lot of times that's kids, actually, but. I don't know if you ever have a painting where you're like, I don't want to know what the context is of this painting because I like it for what it is for me.
Yeah, it's all about feeling. It's like, what do you feel when you see any art? That's like most of it. It's like, how does it make you feel when you look at it?
Right.
Doesn't matter if it looks hyper realistic, if it's like abstract.
Right.
If it's this, which is painting, animation, digital painting, animation, and sound, whatever. It's just how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at before is, the cool thing with art is you can instead of writing stuff, like writing out your life, you can just put it here. Like you can put all your interests, everything you find fascinating about the world in your art. The sea monster, bro. I know. Yeah, you like sea monsters.
Oh,
Always
fuck
fun.
yeah, dude.
Sea monster's cool. I wish he would come back, but we'll see him in a little bit. Oh, this is. I love pufferfish, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, if you touch that pufferfish, it would fucking stab you. Super spiky. Yeah. I feel like in a lot of my animations, I have like, there's like a startup sequence. So like with this one, it just jolted up, the electricity came up, and it made, made everything alive. See with this one, came alive. This one, this guy's he's reaching for the little ball of light. The creatures in this world, they depend on it. They want it. And then this little bug gets zapped. But if you see here, the blue, it'll show up in different parts of the world, and it'll take shape into like natural things. So you see like these shapes, the blue stuff kind of appeared, and then these planets came out of nowhere. So that's just another property to it. It's kind of, well, it's like magical.
What happens? I mean, do you notice anything? Like what happens? I mean, I guess we're trying it right now, but like,
yeah.
What happens when blue is like the only color you see for like an hour, 2 hours? Do those cones fatigue, and now it's like, what happened? Like, does it visually go gray? Or does it change anything?
Like when I look away from, if I'm just like I'm thinking back to painting this thing.
Right. Well, you're sort of painting it maybe not on your streams, because your streams, even in your room, is.
When I'm painting, it's usually like I'm painting in the dark. So it's like, and then I have that like blue orb in my room, but I'm mostly just seeing blue on my computer screen. So yeah, my cones
are
all. Just think if you lived in this world and that's all you didn't have the option to how I can just look away from the computer screen and not look at the blue.
Right.
If that was the only thing. I guess you would just have the dark to reset your vision cones or whatever from the hit from the blue.
Yeah, because what it wants is its opposite. Like, yeah, there's the dark, and then there's the opposite. So in this case, it'd be orange, but you never get it because it's just blue.
There's a big frog.
Oh, it looks like a balloon.
Yeah, it does sound like a balloon when you play it back. It's like, and then it like sticks into the earth. And then he's taken the signal, the sound signal, and then it's like playing through here, and he's listening to it. I honestly don't know what that is, but it just came out of nowhere. I think it killed the frog, but.
Well, that's a portal.
It came out of. I was thinking.
Wait, that's a portal. That's how he got up there, huh?
Yeah. It's like a little It was like a little archway.
It's floating. It's floating in orbit.
It's floating in orbit like a satellite.
Yeah.
And then there's this little archway. He came
from
like.
Okay. Do the portals just literally exist like gateways, like planets, or the portals created by the aliens?
They just exist.
Okay. I see, motherfucker. That is. But what about these?
Which one? That?
Mm-hmm. This.
I was thinking that thing was just a light source.
Okay, and it's this oval train.
That thing was just like a light for like night vision.
Okay. So they're doing technology then, and the portals just exist in the world.
Yeah.
They're just there. Okay.
It exists in the world because this blue stuff works as like a portal, and it's like it can bring things from other. See how it kind of shows up here? It just brought the moon into the fucking sky, and it just does that randomly, like it's like an anomaly. Like you'll just be walking around this world, and this moon that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Because this happens in my dreams where I'll have like, and there it see,
Oh yeah.
a moon showed up and then a gas planet showed up. This happens a lot in my dreams where I'll be in some like random spot and then I'm looking up at the sky and then there's like this giant like Jupiter that's like coming towards Earth and I'm like you've only seen the moon.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell? There's just another planet that's in our orbit that's here.
That yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I didn't know. That's like really fundamental though. That's like, so okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like this then. Okay. I didn't know this anomalous nature where it's there are little portals. And what does that mean for the animals that are constantly eating and juicing this stuff? That they could
They can just hop through it.
hop through portals, but can they just pop up somewhere else randomly?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got to go back to the game. I guess we got to talk about gameplay. An idea that I had was, so we have the main character. So the main character has the light mace thing that's charged. I was thinking that maybe you can like fling, like it has the same way that the blue is captured in this right here, in these little vials. It's not gonna show up here, but it's inside of the mace where you can like fling it out, and it's like it catches on to like a little like opening or whatever in like an area, and then you can just start summoning frogs or whatever. They start coming out of it.
Or that's the mechanism by which it even plants the trees.
Yeah.
But they're not actually planting like they're growing. They're popping into existence.
Yeah.
Because of that nature of the trees.
Yeah.
Where are they? So this is a special motherfucker that knows that there's this portal that comes up here. And this guy could be coming from anywhere. And he says, oh, I know that this is a portal up here, and I'm going to beam my shit down.
Yeah.
And he says, and he just knows that.
Yeah. And then this like all-knowing being comes out, and he like was like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here."
Okay. He got sort of pulled in.
That's what I got about the frog is I mean, they look kind of mischievous. Like he knew what was up.
That looks like a drain.
Yeah, this is Drain Gang right here. So you'll see the drain.
Bro, there's a drain, but there's a so.
Watch the drain. Watch the drain.
It's pooling. Oh no, it's not a drain. Oh, it is a drain.
The Watchers used it. Put a monitor up.
Oh my
Now they're
goodness.
stalking the world.
And okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, every time I look at these, notice something different.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta watch them a couple times.
That's why we got it on loop.
See what's going on.
I mean, we could make something that's just so like niche that just says, don't make any compromise. Like just make the most authentic version of this world.
Yeah.
Rather than saying we want something that's intuitive. Like, there's, games that can be whatever they want because they don't care about people having to have a hard time learning it. But if it's like, because I'm sat here and you've taught me a couple big things about this stuff that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And so what that means is, if we have a high fidelity to your vision and then how this comes out, it's very likely you're going to get people showing up and it's like, Jesus, I don't know how to I don't know how to get into this. I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
You know, you got things popping in and out of existence. Okay,
Yeah.
so like anything can happen, right? And then like they're not gonna know like why the aliens are even there or like why they're what they're doing, you know.
Yeah.
And we could spend so much time trying to bake it in where it's like by just being present in there, they'll know and they'll get to where you are in terms of knowledge on the world without us having to say much. Or we can just admit that that's really unlikely, and you might have a world where it's like, shit, if they don't watch a video like this, they're not gonna, they literally, you know, you might be making some stuff where it's like, if they don't hear you talking about it, they're not gonna know.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting experience because we're always thinking about, you know, what experience we're creating. We're an experience that we're creating where it's like, you showed up and it's like, it's so out of bounds. It so doesn't explain itself. It's so like clearly this niche thing where it doesn't even try to explain itself to you.
Yeah.
And then someone who's particularly curious would go out of their way, and that would be part of the game experience then.
Yeah.
For an individual that is showing up here, and so we can maybe say we're okay with that, and say this is a niche and secret, and oh, do you know? And if you know, those who know, and it's that thing where we're not trying to speak to, you know, everybody. We just say this is gonna have, you know, and this is gonna have some kind of if there's not a video essay about this game by some guy, like it's not gonna, people aren't gonna.
Yeah.
So
In the game world, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna have little buttons or little like infographic things pop up like explaining like, this is this.
right,
Press X to.
right.
Like that's never gonna happen.
And you see games that they don't want to do that, and they're simple games, but they find themselves having to anyway,
Yeah.
or else people are going to complain. One thing we can say is just, it's almost obnoxious, but it's also authentic at the same time. It's like, it's because one thing we can say is that like, we can go back, even though it's so against like the common principles for how you make as a game. It's got to be like super simple, intuitive, and then you know. But there's great games that don't take you through that don't care, and this is also yours. You know, it's not your goal to make necessarily the most poppin' game. It might just be your goal. Like, damn it, what is the 3D
You're right.
immersive interactive version of this? And then you just purely like, and at that point it's totally 100% an artist's video game, not you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is literally what we started with, where it's like, this is if an artist had basically full control over what a video game was, and it was just a rendition of his stuff. And so that's what they're playing. You know, they're not playing a normal game that way. I think that's cool. I think that has its own, because that does offer something that they can't get much, because everyone's explaining stuff to them.
Yeah.
And desperate to get them to understand stuff. And maybe you have something that doesn't try to hold them hostage or bring them along on a thread. It just throws them in and say, if this is interesting enough, like it is for you, like it catches for you, then, you know, they'll dive in and they'll find shit. And it's like, maybe that's, that frees me up. Because then there's so much stuff I don't have to worry about. Because then we can just do what we can just do what you're sort of not supposed to do, which is just throw all of the cool stuff in.
Because when I look at, you know, I've said this before. All these are like a snapshot of what's going on in the world. Like I want to be able to turn or look at this and then do like a full 360. Like, what does it look like in this scene around this corner and like
Right.
this world like it's like begging to be put into 3D and
Right.
it's just begging to have someone walk around and like,
just not fucking know.
just not know
Yeah.
and just experience it and like interact with it
Right.
as well. Of course, you're gonna be able to interact with it. It's not gonna be like mostly just like a walking simulator. You're gonna be interacting. You're gonna be throwing shit down. There's gonna be like little anomalies that you're gonna discover and like little like secrets and stuff that are in the world, and it's just gonna be popping.
That's actually a lot more freedom for me.
Yeah.
We don't have to think about making things make sense. We just say this is the world, and that we're making that.
That's how it goes with this. I'm like, I have like kind of like a gist of what's going on, but mostly I'm just like, yeah, it just looks fucking cool. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
And that's when I have the most freedom with it, when it's just
Right.
it's just whatever my mind can come
Back
up
to
with.
the language. I mean,
The language.
we had talked randomly about, is there a written
Oh,
nonsense language?
yeah.
And does there even have to be?
I mean,
Have you already implemented it?
I've implemented like symbols. I'm making all this shit up as I go along.
Right. Have you implemented the language?
I've not implemented a full language yet. I've looked on like subreddits for like how to actually write a legit language.
Right. Which is kind of sick.
There's people that are like,
And whose language would it be? Just the aliens?
I don't even know. Maybe I mean there'd be like multiple ones. So there's probably one that existed on the planet. Maybe it's an old, maybe it's an old planet. Maybe it wasn't always dark, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it was always dark, and then something came along and like made it glow. Maybe there was other like creatures that lived on it that had written a language, but there's symbols here. This is like an alert symbol. When you see this, like that's just a symbol for what's gonna happen. And they know. Look, they know the planets are coming.
Yeah.
It just came up on that screen.
So as we have it, I mean, in the game world, what is 3D? What are the sum total of things that are going to be in this playable experience that are actually three-dimensional? Now, like, the only obvious one, because it has to be, is the ground and then the character.
Yeah.
This is a sphere. This is a planet.
Yeah.
It's a sphere. You're walking on it. And you are a 3D being.
Mm-hmm.
So much that's two-dimensional. What is three-dimensional? The ships? Oh, okay.
Obviously,
the orbs.
these are going to be the first ones. The orbs.
Orbs? Oh, yeah.
Because we could do those easily.
Well, the orbs you're firing, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
You're
firing
shooting
in
that.
3D space.
Yeah.
But they're also 3D spheres, and they can be liquid as well. But
Yeah.
what about so the thing with 2D is when you're in 2D, nothing's really inside of anything else. That's not really rigorous, but let's say we have an idea of like an alien ship. Are they on ships? Do they have ships?
I mean, yeah, there's like a main one.
Okay, that's got to be a 3D thing, because how do you fit one thing in another if everything's 2D? Now, like,
Yeah.
so alien ship is 3D. ground is 3D. Here's the other thing. You're moving through crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You see like what's the juggernaut thing in the jungle? Sentinel.
Yeah.
You know, these are all 2D, everything you're making. And how do you make, just think like, all right, let's drop, here's what we can do. Just like this is you're doing it, and then you're describing it. Maybe like close your eyes first and think of it, but like you drop somewhere on this planet. Like you can pick the place. Like it's not one of the dark zones where everything's been cleaned out and you just have watchers walking around. I'm talking you dropped up on some spot and you look and it's like there are things there. There is light there and there's stuff going on. Like what's going on? What are we? And like imagine these things as 2D if you can.
The vision I kind of have
Yeah.
where, so when I just think of like like you just boot up the game, you just started the game, the main character is outside in the dark, wakes up
Yeah.
and is like kind of like crippled or whatever, is like injured, and then starts walking on this like straight path and then goes inside of like a sanctuary. Then you're in like this sanctuary, this glowingness. And how do I think of it in 2D, two-dimensional?
I want you to say shit like fucking tree.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say you see the tree.
Okay.
There's that main tree. There's a main tree at every sanctuary. That's gonna be two-dimensional.
So right now all I have is like blank space,
Yeah.
crust of the earth, you, and the tree.
Yeah.
And then what else is populating this?
Another thing that's gonna be, I'm going back to 3D. Probably 3D is gonna be rocks, just like, you could do rocks in 3D Unreal. Two-dimensional. Other than trees. Foliage, you have special kind of plants.
Yeah.
The
Low to the
specialty
ground.
plants that I was painting.
Okay.
It would be so cool if you come across the Sentinel and it was 3D, but if it was, if you come across something like that, and here it is right here, perfectly timed. If it wasn't, well, I guess when you're walking around it, it has to constantly face the player.
Yeah, but you could just make a box.
Just a box, so it.
And all the faces are 2D. It's a box.
So you don't get that effect of.
No.
It's.
Unless it's literally facing you.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about a spot like this where you come across this, you're going to come across this in the world, and it's just sat there, and you're just looking at it.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to figure out, like, what to do with it, like how to interact with it.
Fuck, we can do boxes.
That's what it's called. It's just a.
Well, I want you to think of a cube and all the faces are some 2D thing you made.
Yeah.
But an identical 2D thing you made that shares animations. Well, in that case, like, okay. But still, like, it's an interesting conundrum that right now we have plants and smaller plants as, like, the 2D things that are existing.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you got, like, 2D toads. And they have that effect that they're always looking at you because they're 2D. Anything that's 2D is going to have that effect. That's actually flat in the world as the player is, as the main character, we could say even, is experiencing it. And so anything that's 2D is always watching you.
anything that is 2D. So like we could put like box things would be like something against a wall that you can't. It's like a wardrobe against a wall.
Okay, but why is that necessary?
Because it doesn't, it's not going to be constantly facing you. It's just there, right?
Yeah, unless it has a reason to constantly attack you, it doesn't have to be constantly facing you.
Mm.
If we have a 2D flat texture basically on a cube, yeah, that's sort of interesting. It's going to look, because what's in the middle? You'd have this space in the middle. It would look like four beings sort of in a formation.
Mm. Wait, it's like
Yeah,
the same image on all sides.
yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
Unless you want to, you have to like fill it.
I thought the box was
Oh,
some kind of, I don't know, like game effect or whatever in Unreal that made it so it's not constantly.
no,
Anything in 2D has to constantly face you unless it's just a flat.
Yeah,
plane.
which you wouldn't want.
Yeah.
But like a box would just be like the collision box, like a literal square in the game, and then those are faces. I want you to think like the square guys in Mario that like flatten you. They like walk and they try to flatten you.
Yeah.
Or those guys, those guys,
Yeah.
where like that's a square motherfucker, and you could. A box. That's a guy's a cube, and like all the things around it are 2D. It's like Minecraft. Every block in Minecraft, that's a block, has 2D textures slapped on 2D textures, slapped on a cube. But
Honestly, I know we said before that 3D for me is like off the table. But if there's some way where, because kind of how the way that I'm painting is like sculpting.
yeah,
So I'm like, if I could figure out how to sculpt something like this in Blender, which I've pretty much have already done in Photoshop, where I'm building up these shapes and stuff, and I sculpted this nose and everything, like all of this. Maybe I'm going to be I can work behind the scenes in Blender and just try to figure out just how to sculpt 3D models.
okay, bro. If you can get this brush or these brushes
In Blender.
and make a 3D, this sort of like vapor smoky substance, if you look at the texture of what this is, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever your brushes are, and
Yeah.
you had it as a 3D sort of apparition. First of all, when would you do it? For what thing? Just the coolest shit, like the most epic shit?
Like something you would want to interact with, like if you came across that Sentinel thing, or like this technology,
Okay,
or
bro. This is. We almost.
I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I don't know if 3D is like completely off the table for me.
Well,
feel
fuck, dude. If
I
it's
I feel like I could figure out some things in Blender, to be honest.
okay, we need to. I think that's a great idea. Is to be 100% positive whether or not it's impossible
Yeah.
to make something 3D. Because if you can, that really changes a lot. That really changes a lot because now, and not on my end, like just on how the thing actually play. Like my process of making this stay the same. Everything stays the same.
Yeah.
It's just that now this is basically upgraded. And then there's more emergent experiences you can have with interactivity. But this sea monster, I mean, you said before, I kind of like sea monsters. Let me tell you something. If you make that motherfucker 3D and we're underwater and that thing's moving in 3D and it's 3D
Yeah.
and it's massive, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll spend 3 weeks making that the craziest shit ever because that's that gets me in that whatever megaphobia shit I have,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like so fascinating, and the whole thing, honestly, is like that's a totally different, that's like IMAX theater level shit. Where if we're at that, if you get to that level, and I was thinking, just now I was like, obviously, that's gonna take longer.
It will, because it's Blender.
And I was,
Like,
it's
barely
because
touched it.
you got to learn it and then you do it. But I was thinking, you almost want to have, if it's gonna take long, you almost want to make versions that are not games yet, but they're 2D. They're just renders, and they're using the stuff that we already have,
Yeah.
and the stuff that you already made, and you make a smaller scale. Like as you're learning to do this big stuff,
Yeah.
we have a little small thing, and I wish.
Because I'm going to be basing what I'm sculpting in 3D based off of, the animations that I'm making. So we can put the 2D into the game.
Right, we can't. It's like there's still gonna be 2D shit, probably. But I was thinking like, it sucks that if you have this process and it does take long, that we have
Yeah.
so much time before someone can even get their hands on it.
Yeah.
Whereas like we don't have to follow any of the rules, like because we are at this point so niche where it's like we don't even care. We could have like a pre-alpha. It can be some. It doesn't have to be open, but we can have just like an existing thing that's like, here's an early rendition.
Yeah.
So someone that is seeing this and it's interested, they can show up and be like, this is where it's at now.
Yeah.
And it's some broken, no expectations, no whether or not this is a game or not, just put them in that spot, and it's just
Let's just okay, because I agree, because we need to basically just let's just do like one sandbox
Scene?
level where it's just let's get John to do a soundscape. Let's get Joe to do it, just a soundtrack for this one.
Yeah, because now we know how it's gonna look.
Yeah, and then so let's just do like just one sandbox, just like a small sandbox that we can walk through in first person, that just has like this shit floating around. We'll add some trees to it, and then just see how it feels, and just walking through a sandbox of it with everything put together, the sound, the 2D visuals, just where we're at right now with everything.
And if it's like if we're at that point where it's like, okay, yeah, this is cool, and then we're add 3D things, so you have a mixed where it's like it's gonna have some 2D things, some 3D things, and the 3D things have this inner, like the player understands that the 3D things are more sort of interactive and like in their sort of more pronounced in some effect to some degree.
Like
There's a little bit of a language immediately there, whereas like with something's flat, it's like did you say Scooby-Doo?
I was gonna say in the Scooby-Doo cartoons,
What's gonna move?
What's gonna move because it's more in detail.
Yeah.
The shit in the background looks like
Pencil.
painterly.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what shelf is gonna move before. Dude, that ruins the show. I can't watch that shit anymore because you know what shelf is and so you can predict it. But they didn't think of that because they were thinking some kids.
Yeah.
But if we have that, then I almost just wanna release something like that, and we can have a message at the start that says, that links back to us and says, this is what we're doing. This is not even, we don't even give a shit. This isn't even like a pre-alpha version.
Yeah.
This is just like show up and
walk
have the first person experience that we're having.
Yeah.
And so it exists, and then say, because we don't have anything to hide. No one's gonna make this.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be like, no, this isn't something you can like. Yeah. No one's gonna make it. Like, this is just you. You're the only one that can make this. So
Yeah.
we don't have to work. We don't have anything to lose. We don't have anything to hide, and we don't have to follow any rules because like about like how games are usually. And I like. I like IRL.
You talking about? Are you going to talk about augmented reality? Sorry.
No, like this. Like we're using
projections.
light projection. Like you have something, and we're making something that you can just do this with, and it works. Like it's cool. Like we're in a spot. Like
Yeah.
You don't need much more equipment to make this like next level stuff. This is like basically an exhibit. You can't do this with fucking Roblox.
No.
So like that's interesting. I mean, you have something that works in real space. But you just said augmented reality, which is kind of funny because now I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
Would you have like should we have like a corollary little because you just use Unreal Engine to make AR apps. Would you have like a corollary like, a kid puts his phone up, all of a sudden some fucking one of these things is
Scaring the shit out.
I don't know,
Yeah.
like it turns the world and it plays the sounds and it turns like the world around them, like all the surfaces and walls that it detects into like some crazy shit or whatever, or like what
Right.
we can make a whole universe of this. You've already done it.
Yeah.
I mean, because in some sense, the stuff you post exists on its own. Like this, like when this is on someone's phone, it's like, this is just it for itself.
That would be kind of funny if this was a Pokemon Go type game. I mean, there's
Holy
already
shit.
creatures that exist in the
Holy
game, so
shit.
it's like, and we talked about before where the main character would have a Pokedex of like all
Yeah.
the characters, where it's like,
Holy shit.
and then because, okay, wait, what is no, okay. I'm trying to think of Pokemon Go. There's 3D, all these things that are.
Yeah, the three, but it can be the same. It can be the same as it looks in our sandbox.
It can be the same two-dimensional.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
Oh, that's a better idea than what I was thinking of. But like we can make this thing that you make. It already exists in sort of multiple universes where it's like it's on someone's phone. It's just some cool shit they see on the phone and they wonder about it. And then it's a game on here where it's like someone's the main character or whatever. And then it can be augmented. And then it can be IRL. I mean, you've basically made something where it's just yours and you can throw it anywhere.
Yeah. Well, in a little bit here, this is gonna be downtown. These projections are gonna be downtown. It's gonna be shown to people because I have, I'm gonna figure out a way to either make it a figure out projection mapping, or just throw it up on a wall somewhere. But that'll be fun just to see people's reactions to this, and then I'm gonna have to explain to them.
Bro,
like, what the fuck?
nope, maybe you fucking don't, man. I
I
don't
don't
know.
even want to. I just want them to I just want to
You don't
be
want to,
off-
yeah.
Off to the side and just record them looking at this shit.
But if you recorded them, they're gonna know you're the guy.
I'm gonna have the camera set off. It's gonna be in a
Okay.
It's gonna be in
As
a
long as
bar
you're away from the
somewhere.
camera.
This isn't a bar.
Yeah,
But
honestly,
it's
but you
cool.
need audio.
No, yeah. This is gonna be a video. So this is in a bar downtown. There's a DJ set up, and I'm gonna be around other artists that are
Yeah.
selling shit and showing off their other stuff. But I just gotta figure out where in that area, because I was talking to this guy who put me on to this opportunity, and he's like, yeah, you can come down February 12th. We're having an event, and just figure out where you wanna the storm, where you wanna put. Where you want to put where you want to project your stuff. But I'm like, that's so cool. Because I just want to see people's reactions to this shit. Because this shit has only existed on my phone and on my computer screen. And I've only seen people's reactions to it through like comments on TikTok, Instagram, or whatever. But I'm like, bro, I want people to see this shit in real life, and then just
Yeah.
get their like, you know, there's people walking around like with their friends or whatever, looking at like, what the fuck. So that's gonna be super interesting.
Yeah, you gotta
The
capture
option to
that.
do that.
You gotta capture that many ways, man. You gotta get the GoPro.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
good.
have GoPro. Honestly, GoPro
Do you
might be
need
a good setup.
do you need help on that, like another hand, or is it gonna be like
If-
other people helping you?
If you can help me, that would be great.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking
dude, that sounds sick, man.
I can have GoPro set up, and then maybe another camera, and then we'll have these set up just to capture people's audio, or we'll just probably have these on our persons, and these are omnidirectional, so they'll just
Yeah.
capture
Oh yeah,
it.
they help. They've been hearing the storm. I bet you.
Yeah, you just heard that. Yeah.
They've been hearing the storm. But I
Um,
like this. I mean, you want it to be able to be, and you want that multi universal ability, right? Where
Yeah.
you can make this so many different things. I mean, because yeah, and at some point, you know, you're gonna be thinking about all these different mediums with which someone can experience it, and translating what the fiction is to all of it. You know, you're gonna have to come up with something and stick to it and say, you know, this is it. Like, this is your world that you built. This is the story. This is how things work in the world. And sort of like the way that a novelist would construct a world. Because you can't write 8 books while you're making it up as you go. Because you're going to break your own laws. You're going to destroy your own rules of your own world.
That's true.
Whereas someone who's going to make 8 novels or 8 different projects on the same world, like, you decide to say, you create the world, you create like all these things, and then the rest of you is just sticking within that constraint, what does make sense, which is your own personal thing with how much does it even matter to you. Is this just a set of designs, or
Right,
is
right.
this something where you know?
Yeah. I don't know if I could figure that out right now.
Okay.
I mean, going back to we were just talking about how the game world is just more going to be an experience. I mean, then I would have to commit. I mean, I'm already committing to. There's going to be more creatures, so there's. Like, what constraints would I put on myself?
That's something, yeah, you gotta think through with in terms of what you value about what you're making.
Right.
If all you care about is those like reactions that you give people, well, fuck that. If that's your main thing, then you'll make anything, right? You'll just throw.
It'll just be like a. Yeah.
It's right, and then it's like no rules. Like, that's fine,
Yeah.
but that's a decision.
Maybe. Maybe whatever I show through projections to people is just doesn't really stick to it, but whatever's in the game world
Certainly,
actually
both the
sticks to like like a story and
yeah. Huh. So it's not gonna be canon. What's on the IRL stuff?
not in the game.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. It exists. I mean, in this world, anything can fucking happen. There's just like.
Okay. It's not fucking canon, bruh.
Not canon to.
Guys at the bar are not getting the canon shit.
We've actually walked past that bar before.
Okay. Well, hey,
Yeah.
this way you get some
It's fine.
freedom. You can do
Yeah.
still whatever.
Yeah.
That's sick.
But it's a good opportunity. You know, I went to this art museum, and I was talking to a couple artists that were there, and I was like, I'm like showing this to them on my fucking small ass phone, and I'm like, bro, I just wish I had it like how it is here, where I'm like, I wish I can show it to you just in a bigger scale. And, you know, I hate that I have to show it to you on my phone. Like, here's my art.
Yeah.
It only exists on Instagram and like TikTok or whatever. But I was like, I need to bring this into a screen.
Well, bro, if you put, because when you get to bars, like, I know it's a showcase specifically for that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you were ever at a bar and it's just like, okay, we need music visuals, like,
Yeah.
there's a way to put stuff like this, and then you have a background of like actual like tempo, timed, rhythmic,
Right.
sort of sedating, hypnotizing stuff like that, which is just like basically if you were to take some psychedelic drug while in this world, that's what you'd see.
Yeah.
You know, and then you'd be some crazy shit. But it's like, it's also like, what was he even mentioning that? Yeah, okay. When you're thinking about plastering it over a wall, there's stuff you might do that is specifically for that you wouldn't do in any other context.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you know you're doing it for that, you might create stuff like specifically for it.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, like if this shit's behind like a DJ or something.
yeah,
Um,
because spatially now this works. But you get this like hard line that doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah, this is vertical just because this is the age of social media that we live in, where everything is vertical.
It
so it's
definitely
changed
tells a story.
So it's changed. This is how my art is now. It's to
Right.
this short form media.
Look at this limitation
Yeah.
in this 2D nonsense. Oh my God, that's like a bomb.
Yeah. It was a
I
bomb.
just know it's a fucking mine.
Yeah.
It's a.
It didn't do anything to him though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, didn't do anything to the.
Fucking 20th time I've seen this shit, and it's a
goosebump eyes.
it's
Oh,
a
it's
bomb. And
Yeah.
shit.
These are a little. Oh, they're not going right now. But
Shit, dudes. That's what's crazy. Is you're there's so much story. Everything has an explanation when
Yeah.
you're making it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. When it comes to the game world or any world where it's like they're immersed in it rather than just seeing it on a wall, you need to be rigorous about the constraints, because if someone sort of imagines that you really don't care, it's gonna be a throw off. It's not gonna be like, this isn't like world building. I'm not immersed in something. I'm in a tunnel of someone's visions, right?
Yeah.
But
You're in my dream.
yeah.
And nothing makes sense.
Yeah. People want something to hold on to.
He got tired. He got woken up again. This thing turns on. See this little slug?
Yeah.
Little slugs in there. Boom. Yeah. That's a good plan. Because then I can just go crazy on what I show to people in real life.
Right.
That's fun. That's really fun.
Cool.
And the 3D, figure out the 3D. Blender, yeah.
Yeah, Blender. It's really Blender.
That's so taking Blender assets and then it's like a file.
Yeah,
Hand it
so
off to you, and then you put it in Unreal.
it's a You want to talk the technicalities of it? Or we can kind of just hit that when we go. Yeah. Because I have an answer, but it's it's just like.
But I know that's in the simplest. That's what I'll be doing is.
Right. There's a way. There has to be a way. There has to be a way.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it like Adobe, because this is how I work, where I'm painting in Photoshop. There's each a layer, and they're all under one file. I put the one file into After Effects, and then I just play around with all of those layers that I painted and animate them.
Right. Yeah.
But first order of business for Game World is just make an immersive sound box. So we'll be delegating our audio guys.
Right. Okay. Well, then you make a variance in foliage.
Yeah.
We make a scene like we did at the start.
Yeah.
and this isn't a normal typical game, so we don't have to use those principles. This is a different kind of project. So
I'm excited to see what it's. You put on headphones, and you just like walk through the world, just the little sandbox, and just see how it feels.
yeah,
And a lot could give you that sense of immersion, whether it's like each time you walk, there's like maybe you're walking over different different like grass. It's playing different sound effects or whatever, but a lot can give you that immersion. What time is it?
holy shit, man, got amoebas and shit.
Yeah, that's how I started it out. Was I would just paint microscopic creatures. That was like one of the first kind of creatures that I made. I was thinking this whole series was going to just be this, like a microscopic creature. This was going to go on your shirt.
Yeah,
And then you're like, no, fuck that. I don't like these creatures. And then I just put it in here. I connected it to, I was like, oh, wait, I want to paint like some alien technology. And then I was like, let's put a monitor on it. And then I was like, what's going to come out of the monitor?
Yeah.
And then it's like, let's put a creature, like a weird ass creature that looks kind of creepy.
Yeah, I
behind the
remember
monitor.
that because you just did that.
Yeah.
You stumbled into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have this creature, this squid kind of creature. These are all just weird microscopic creatures that are just like in. I mean, they're in liquid. Maybe
Well,
they-
that shit that just came out was HD as fuck.
What was it?
That
the
was like the
planets?
most crisp. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks normal. You should have seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much shit going on in this world, bro.
Oh, it's a reverse Sigma sign. You know that? You see it?
Yeah.
It's a Sigma fucking.
I know. I realized that after I painted it, I was like, bro, it's the fucking Sigma sign, and it was just totally like,
Oh my god.
unintended.
Oh jeez. Sigma planet.
Sigma planet. So this thing pops up, and then it kind of it's like a view of the.
We have mist. I just saw mist or fog, whatever.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
like auroras of the blue mist. There's
Okay,
Blue
perfect.
auroras.
No, that's a really good 3D detail to add
Yeah.
because or else your visibility is unlimited. You can just see like in the distance, like
Blue mist.
or just creatures in the distance that you wouldn't want to normally see without the mist. Like the mist is your fog. That's what's screwing your view distance. That's awesome. It's gonna help.
And this eye just starts popping. See how it has ammo?
Yeah.
It's losing the ammo of the dots, and then it's like kind of gets
It's fu-
suffocated by the blue.
Fucking
There's
losing
one,
ammo.
but- yeah.
That dude had a human ass nose.
Yeah, it has humanistic.
Well, I guess you're right. I mean, this
Features.
motherfucker has a nose.
They do look human, yeah.
I don't know why he looks funny now.
I don't know what happens here. I just needed a way to end it, so I was like, oh.
Okay, shut this shit down.
It just gets shut down. Frog pops out. The earth pops in. The listening device comes in. Now I'm just showing you things that you may have not picked up. It's kind of static here. Yeah, you can see the auroras just kind of. Yeah. When I made this one, I was like, maybe these are like flies, glowing flies. I didn't have the idea that these were just like
Right.
a glowing blue substance. These are like bomb things that are like embedded into the ground. You see, there's like cracks in the sand. This is
Those
just,
are
like, debris.
bombs
Goosebumps eyes.
from a bomb factory.
That's a big bomb. And then the sea creature has like a
Oh, wow.
wait. You see that like glowing emerald thing?
Yeah, I didn't see it before.
Yeah, it's got a glowing emerald on it.
Shit.
Kind of a creepy fish. Just kind of like puts the aliens back into the glowing blue spot. I don't know. He just comes out of nowhere. This is really fun. I remember when I figured out how to animate all this. I was like so excited. I just took like an adjustment layer and threw it over there. It's called Bad TV. It makes it look all warped and like fucked up. But oh yeah, we'll look at this HD thing again that you were talking about.
Yeah, you should see it.
This force field, that was fun to make.
Wait.
It's
Look at that shit's
Yeah.
fucking crisp.
yeah. It's like
And
all
there's
these like
It's a
schematics.
detailed ass image.
Planet schematics. Here it comes.
Bro, do you have your phone on you, bro?
Yeah.
Really?
Been getting texts all night.
What time is it?
It's 10. We should probably end.
Okay. Should I end it?
Let's shut it down. That was good though. That was really good.